What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. We're back today on NBA 2K24, here to do a video on the one team left in the NBA Association without a win, and that is the Memphis Grizzlies, who actually had a 10-point lead last night with 3 minutes left to go, and they found a way to blow the lead. The Blazers beat them in overtime. Our Portland Trail Blazers, fun game last night. Let's go ahead, jump in. Let's rebuild the 0-6 Memphis Grizzlies, and let's see what we can do to help the Grizzlies. Before we get in today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you are new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. We're currently on the road to 50,000 subs, and your sub to help us reach that goal would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you have any other regular season storylines you guys want to see me do a video on, definitely comment them down below. But as I said, we're talking about the one team left in the NBA without a win, and that is the Memphis Grizzlies, who are 0-6, man. Obviously, a big reason for that, the John Morant suspension hasn't helped. They're also missing Brandon Clark. And another thing that really hit before the season started was Steven Adams is out for the season with a knee injury. He had, I think he went under surgery, and now he's going to be gone. So really unfortunate stuff there for Steven Adams and the Grizzlies, because they could use him right now. 0-6, they had a 10-point lead, as I said last night, with 3 minutes left to go, and they found a way to blow the lead. Just unfortunate stuff. Shaedon Sharpe, absolute stud. So happy as a Blazers fan to see him progress the way he has this season. But how are we going to fix the Memphis Grizzlies is the question. Obviously, we need John Morant back. That's a big thing we need at the moment. But if we look at the rest of the season rotation before John Morant comes back, it's, of course, Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane, Zaire Williams is getting some run right now, Jaren Jackson, Tillman, Luke Kennard, Santi Aldama, Derrick Rose, and then David Roddy, and then Kenneth Loftus. That is our rotation at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and shrink it down to a 9-man rotation. We're just going to see how long we can be good without John Morant. But another thing I think this team should be doing is they should be making a big move, probably for another 5, because Jaren Jackson isn't a 5. He's a 4, obviously, and that's where we want to play him. But there's a 5 that I have in mind, and I think the Grizzlies should be all over. So I will see you guys at the trade deadline for that move, and John Morant should be back. Hopefully, when John Morant comes back, we're going to be like hovering around 500, and we can go on a run to end the season. So we're going to find ways to help this Memphis Grizzlies team be back on the map, be back on the contender status, a dark horse contender rather. But let's go ahead, same like the rest of the season, 0-6 right now, but hopefully we could turn things around here. But of course, as you guys know, today's video is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a player props app that's available on mobile or desktop. It's simply you against the numbers, you against the projections. They have all kinds of sports outside of just basketball, but then you look at all the stats here. You basically, this is what you do. You go over or under on the projection that they give you. Let's say we're going to go to 3-pointers made, and we think that DeJounte Murray is going to hit more than 2 threes tonight. You go over on that projection at 1.5. Let's say you think Miles Turner, who had a great game last night, you think he's going to go over on his threes. You go more on that as well. Basically, choose between 2 to 6 players, 2 players being 3 times your entry, all the way up to 6 players being 25 times your entry. Right now, PrizePicks is matching your deposit dollar for dollar if you use code Crushables up to $100. Link to my code is down in the description below. PrizePicks is just a great way to enhance your viewing experience while watching the sports that you like. Obviously, it's just an extra sweat. It's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend PrizePicks, so go ahead, use that code down in the description below. Use code Crushables. Thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. So the first step was John Morant coming back from suspension. Second step is stopping at this trade deadline and finding a brand new center to replace Steven Adams, who's gone for the season. I feel like this Grizzlies team has a window opened up right now where John Morant's coming back. You have Smart now. You have Desmond Bane. This is a team that's trying to contend. They're trying to be competitive in the playoffs. They're trying to win a championship. That's kind of where they're at. I think a lot of us, maybe don't take them like too seriously as like a championship team. But they're right there. They're right in the mix, in my personal opinion. So we need to find a way to elevate this team to that status. So how are we going to do that is the question. To me, as I said, we need to find a brand new 5-man. And there's a few options around the league. You just got to look around and see who has like a center that maybe they're willing to trade away that make a lot of sense as an upgrade here. Now, I do have Steven Adams healthy now, because I feel like injured players are traded all the time. So I could see a world where they could trade Steven Adams' salary. Only 2 years left on it. His contract next year is an expiring contract in the offseason. That might be pretty valuable around the league, because expiring contracts are pretty valuable, especially in this new CBA. So taking a look at our options around the league. So right now it says we are selling. Obviously, we're not looking to do that. We're looking to upgrade here. So first option would be like Clint Capella on the Atlanta Hawks. I don't hate that. I think that actually could make some sense. Hawks are currently shopping Clint Capella, which makes sense because they extended Okongwu. That's an option. Miami, Bam Adebayo, probably not going to happen. The Hornets, they have like Nick Richards, not really what I'm looking for. Walker Kessler, probably not available, obviously. Sabonis, probably not available. Mitch Robinson, maybe, but I don't see why the Knicks would do that. I have someone at the top of my head. Let's just stop beating around the bush. There's someone that I think makes a lot of sense. Nick Claxton also is interesting. If Brooklyn would be willing to move on from him, I would not mind that if I'm Memphis. Maybe go all in on, Nick Claxton. I don't hate that. But my preferred target here is the team that actually ended up beating the Grizzlies last night, and that is the Portland Trail Blazers. Obviously, the Blazers have both Robert Williams and DeAndre Ayton. The Blazers are sitting on like a treasure chest of guys that could help contending teams. They have Brogdon, who obviously has been really good so far this season. And I feel like a lot of teams are going to want him at the deadline, and I think it makes sense to move on from him. You got Matisse Thybulle, another guy that 3-and-D wing. He's shot better from three, so I don't know if you could really call him a 3-and-D wing, but of course, known as a good defender around the league. Jeremy Grant, another forward that I think a lot of contending teams might like. Obviously, his contract's not the best, so maybe that scares some teams away. Who knows? But the one I want here is Robert Williams III. Now, would the Blazers be willing to move him is the question. I have no idea. But if a team is willing to offer like 2 firsts for Robert Williams, which I think is something you could get for him, I don't know if you could pass up on that if you're a Blazer squad that's kind of like just mid at the trade deadline. But I'm not really sure what they plan on doing at the deadline. But that is who I'm trying to go for here. That is Robert Williams. I want Robert Williams if I'm the Memphis Grizzlies. Obviously, Claxton, Capella makes sense as well. But getting Robert Williams makes a ton of sense to me. You trade Steven Adams, who obviously is injured in real life. I'm going to put his injury back on once we do this. 2K just doesn't let you trade injured players, which is annoying because it happens all the time. But Steven Adams for Robert Williams. And then I think if the Memphis Grizzlies came up and said, hey, we'll offer you 2 first-round picks for Robert Williams, do the Blazers say yes to that? Maybe they don't want their, maybe it's like future picks, like say it's 2027 and 2029. They don't want their 2024, 2026. They're trying to bank on them, maybe blowing it up in the future. So pretend this is 2029. And then maybe that's not enough. And Memphis comes up and they offer one of the young players that they have that aren't getting many minutes, like maybe Kenneth Lofton, maybe Odama, maybe Jake LaRavia starting this trade. I don't know. Maybe 2 firsts is enough. So let's say we did this and they agree. So we get Robert Williams. Robert Williams for 2 firsts, I think is well worth it if you're the Memphis Grizzlies. I think you could use that upgrade at that 5 spot. I think the Blazers, there is a chance that they would be willing to move on from him at the deadline. I think it just depends on what the offers are and how good they are. So now we have John Morant, Smart, Bane Jackson, and Robert Williams as our brand new starting 5. I like it a lot. Do I need to make any other moves here? Probably not. I think we're set here. So let's see what we got. So we got obviously Tillman as a backup 5, Kennard, Brandon Clark as another backup 5. We don't really need to play both of them. I like what I've seen from Zaire Williams so far this season. I mean, I guess we could move Tillman because we have Clark locked up if we wanted to go ahead and move Tillman, or we could just keep Tillman as insurance probably. I don't know. Obviously, Tillman's at 78 while Clark's 77. I think we'll just go ahead and leave it. I guess we can go ahead and throw, I guess we'll throw, I don't know, Zaire Williams in here over Aldama. It doesn't really matter. So we're just going to go ahead, roll with it like this. I'll see you guys at the end of the season. Now that John Morant is back, now that we have a brand new upgrade at the 5, let's see how I finish out the rest of this regular season. At the end of year 1, Joel Embiid wins MVP. Vic is your Rookie of the Year. Chris Paul, 6th man. Giannis, Offensive Player. Purdy, Most Improved. And Zach LaVine, Clutch Player of the Year. And Nick Nurse, Coach of the Year. So here's your All-NBA first team, All-NBA second, All-NBA third team, All-Defensive first team, and All-Defensive second team. So we ended up as a play-in team as a 9th seed in the Western Conference. Obviously, John Morant's suspension was too much to overcome. So that's unfortunate. But I think with a little bit of retooling in the offseason, upgrading the bench a little bit, I think we should be just fine. So I'm actually not too upset with how things went for the rest of the season. We also extended Tillman at the contract extension deadline. I'm going to have to choose between Clark or Tillman in the offseason. Tillman is the better overall at the moment, but I feel like I always choose him. So I don't know. And I think so. I feel like people get upset when I trade Brandon Clark away because he is a really good role player. Don't get me wrong. But for whatever reason, they have, obviously Tillman better than Clark. And I would argue that Clark is probably better than Tillman, but I don't know. Maybe as a Grizzlies fan, you disagree with that. So let's see, be the Timberwolves to get into the second leg. We do. And now it's time to play Dallas to try to get into the playoffs here. So obviously, we have aspirations of being in the playoffs. So hopefully we can do just that. And we got to beat the Mavericks, which 2 teams that I think a lot of people would agree that should be playoff teams this year. But obviously the West is so stacked that you just don't ever really know. And we are going to barely edge out the Mavericks to get in. 51, 9, and 13 from John Morant to get us in. And now we play the Clippers to, of course, acquire James Harden at the deadline. So this is not going to be an easy matchup by any means, but here goes nothing. Somebody current round against the Clippers, I should say. And we are going to actually be up 3-2 on them at the moment. We have them on the ropes. Now, can we close them out here? And we do just that. As an 8th seed from the play-in, we beat the Clippers in round 1. So if I'm the Clippers and I can eliminate round 1 by an 8th seed, If I'm Steve Ballmer, I am not happy at all, man. I spent all of this, all these assets, all this money just to lose in round 1 to an 8th seed. Yeah, if I'm Steve Ballmer, I'm tilted. But play the Lakers in round 2, so another LA squad. We beat them, similarly current round. And we are going to beat them in 5 as well. So just like that, we have turned things around. And now we get the New Orleans Pelicans, who of course have Zion. So Zion versus John Morant. Should be a lot of fun. Can we beat them to get into the finals? And we are going to have an even series on our hands. So here we go. Game 5 in New Orleans. This is a big one because obviously whoever goes on to win Game 5 usually goes on to win the series. Not always the case, but obviously math is math. So here we go. We do lose 100 to 112 in this Game 5. So in Memphis, we have to win this Game 6 to see if we can force a Game 7 back to New Orleans. And right now, I'm about to say, look, they had the lead for the longest time. We took it, but they take it right back. And now we have ourselves a 3-point ball game with little to no time left. And we are going to be in a close one. And the Pelicans do beat us. So just like that, John Morant still wins Conference Finals MVP, but it doesn't matter. We lose by 8 in Game 6. The Pelicans also went on to win the championship. CJ McCollum is your Finals MVP. All right. Player retirements. Udonis Haslem retiring. We'll leave that the way it is. Draft lottery time. So we are going to have our pick this offseason because we didn't trade it. It ends up being pick number... Or maybe we don't have our pick. Do we have our pick? I'm pretty sure we do. Ends up being pick 16. So we do have our first round pick. Staff signing. We have, Taylor Jenkins out there. I mean, the fact that we went from the AFC to the conference finals, I would love to keep him, but he actually rejects our offer. So Taylor Jenkins not having it. I guess we'll just go Will Hardy be our head coach if the Utah Jazz were to fire him. Why not? I would have just rather have kept Taylor Jenkins for the realism, but whatever. Baxter will go ahead and sign, and then big man coach will go Timmy Cole. So we'll sign them. While our coaching staff completely filled out. All right, on draft night, I think the biggest thing this offseason is we need to upgrade our bench. Our starting 5 is set. I'm not changing the starting 5. The bench needs change, and that starts with the draft. I think at pick 16, you could probably find a way to get a role player out of the draft that could play right away. Or you could also trade 16 and Tillman or Clark and try to go get somebody else. I don't know. Let's see what that would get us if we tried this. So Caruso, man, I would love Caruso, but he goes down in overall. I think he would make a ton of sense if he didn't go down. Max Strus. We need more shooting. I don't think that's a bad idea, but we might come back to that. If we want to go Max Strus, we might come back to that. Although I do like Zaire Williams at the backup 3. Nick Richards, we already have a backup 5. Clarkson actually could make a ton of sense as well. 6 man off the bench. I think he could actually be really nice. I think Clark should be great, but he might go down in overall as well, which would be my concern. Jaden Hardy, Cameron Thomas, of course, has been amazing. Jordan Hawkins, Marvin Bagley. McDaniels, there is actually some really good offers here. I'm not going to lie. Thibault. I really like the Strus deal, and I also really like this Clarkson deal. I don't know. If I'm Memphis, Tillman and 16 for Clarkson actually sounds really nice. We get ourselves a really good scorer off the bench. I think this makes sense. Now, the only problem with this is I don't know how much Clarkson's going to go down in overall, but it's someone I don't often trade for. So you know what? I'm willing to take the gamble. We're going to trade Tillman 16 and John Kachar for Jordan Clarkson on draft. Now we also get Omer as a throw-in. So welcome to the team, Jordan Clarkson. I actually think that's a really good addition off our bench. We can play him at backup point guard, backup shooting guard, whatever we want to do with them. But I really like that addition. I don't hate it. So we passed on 16. I'm actually curious to see who goes 16. So let's see who goes number 16. So let's see who we could have gotten. At 16, we have like Mikey Williams on the board. I guess we could have gotten Donovan Clingan, but we already had 5 men. We have Clark and Tillman. So Cody Williams was available as well. So yeah, at 16, we could have gotten somebody, but I don't hate getting Clarkson. So player options, we got Luke Kennard. I actually think we should accept this. Need more shooting. So Jake Laravio, David Roddy will accept. And then qualifying offers, Gigi Jackson. I definitely want to bring him back if I can. And then free agency. I don't know if we have any important free agents here. We do not. So, and we have an MLE. Yes, we do. We could bring back Melton. We could bring in Caleb Martin. So yeah, we can get a really good bench player, which is nice. So we have John Morant, Derrick Rose, Luke Kennard, and Jordan Clarkson. If I move Clarkson to point guard, does he go down in overall? He does. All right, so we're going to try to leave him at the 2. Kennard, on the other hand, we have Zaire Williams as that backup 3, which I do like. Last year, how did he shoot from 3 last year? He only shot 24% from 3, so that's not ideal. But Jaren Jackson, Santi Aldama, and then obviously we kept Clark and Robert Williams. So, I mean, I guess if there was any position I would sign, it would maybe be a better shooting point guard, backup point guard potentially. Maybe we move Luke Kennard and keep Clarkson around. I don't know. Or maybe we could move Zaire Williams if we don't plan on re-signing him. Maybe we slide Kennard down to that 3 spot. I think Kennard actually goes up at the 3 spot. Yeah, he goes up to an 80. So I actually think we're going to go ahead and move Kennard to that shooting guard, or to that small forward spot. And then we're going to get a better backup point guard. And that's what we'll do. So Mike Conley, a Tyus Jones, who is somebody that obviously played in Memphis once upon a time. And yeah, he'd be really good. Monte Morris also, John Wall. You got Beverly, Jalen Noel. I mean, I'm definitely leaning between either Monte Morris or Tyus Jones. And I think we get the guy that's played here before. We're going to get Tyus Jones in free agency. Tyus Jones, Clarkson's our backup backcourt. I like it. So bring Tyus Jones back to Memphis. He'll be our backup point guard, which is great. And now we can just worry about getting GG Jackson back as a guy that we obviously want to keep around. So big offseason. Getting Tyus Jones back is huge in my opinion. We brought in Clarkson. So hopefully that upgrades our bench tenfold. GG Jackson's back. So Clarkson only goes down 1 overall. I was kind of worried about how much he'd go down in overall. He didn't go down too much. Zay Williams goes up to a 77, up 5 overall. And then you got like obviously Lofton, Laravia, Omer, David Roddy, Santi Aldama all going up. In my personal opinion as well, this team still has a bunch of assets. We still have a bunch of young players that could maybe be thrown in a trade. I don't know if it's like young players people love, but it is an option to, you know, consider at the deadline. If we feel like we need to make another move at the deadline, we have assets. So who would it be for? I have no idea at the moment. I guess you could move Smart if you think you want to slide Desmond Bane back to the 3. Whatever, we'll decide. We'll decide when we get the trade deadline if there's something that makes sense for us to do. We might do it. We'll see. We need to cut 2 players though. So let's see who that'd be. So I think, unfortunately, I hate to do it, but I think we're going to have to cut Derrick Rose, which really sucks because I do like Derrick Rose, obviously. And I think we're going to have to trade Omer. I don't want to cut Omer, so I think we're going to have to try to trade him for like a second. I think that's definitely possible. I think some team would maybe take a chance on him. So if someone just want to give me like a second for Omer, they can't do it. Let's say did the Wizards have money? So let's say we did that. So the Wizards take him for a 2nd round pick, and boom, that's settled. Okay, proficiency under Will Hardy is at 4-star, which is great. And we'll leave that the way it is. Here is your rotation going into next season. So you got John Morant, Smart, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson, Robert Williams. I love that starting 5. Hopefully it clicks this year. Tyus Jones, Luke Kennard, Jordan Clarkson, and that leaves Zay Williams as the backup 3, which I'm fine with. That leaves Clark out of the rotation, which actually, I think we put Clark in as that backup 5. Maybe we feel like we need to upgrade the backup center position. Like if that's the biggest thing we need to upgrade, because I do like Clark, but if he's not going to go up in overall, then what's a man to do, right? So I will see you guys either at the end of the season or at the trade deadline. It just kind of depends on how the season is going. Obviously, the goal at the end of this video was got to win a championship. So we got to make sure we're set to do that. At the end of year 2, Luka wins MVP. Ade Mara is your rookie of the year. Chris Paul, 6th man. Vic, defensive player. Most improved goes to Bone Silent. And Dame is your clutch player of the year, who had a great game last night as well and was pretty clutch last night. So, Bula Green, coach of the year. Luka Doncic, Jokic, LaMelo, Giannis, Vic. On base 18, we do get John Morant making it, which is cool. Offensive team, do we get any Grizzlies representatives here? We do not. I feel like we have 3 guys that could technically make one of these, which is why I feel like our defense should be good. And we end up as the 1st seed in the West. I decided against making a move at the deadline. I came close to trying to do one, but nothing really came to mind that I thought, you know, really helped us out too much. But 26, 24, 20, 14, and then 10 from Tyus Jones off the bench, 9 from Kennard, 8 from Smart, 7 and 12, and then 5 from Clark off the bench. So here goes nothing. Obviously, rotation is pretty much the same. Nothing has changed here. So let's see if we can go on to beat the Portland Trailblazers in round 1, who, as I said, ended up beating the Grizzlies last night in OT, which was a very fun game. But the Blazers still have Brogdon, still have Aiden. Obviously, we took Robert Williams from them. We gave them Adams, and Adams is still, I don't think he's on the team. Or no, he's right there. He's at a 70. Bro, Adams regresses like crazy. Wow. All right. Let's see if we can beat them in round 1. Obviously, getting eliminated by the AFC would not be ideal, and we are going to lose game 1. We're in a tie series, so let's not mess around and lose this series. It looks like they're going to put Zay Williams in. Brandon Clark, for whatever reason, just isn't very good in 2K, which kind of sucks because I would love to roll with him, but something tells me I might need to upgrade from him. So let's see if we can go ahead and close out this game 5. We do. So that was a very pivotal game 5. We won it, and now it's time to go win this, hopefully, game 6 in Portland to get it out of round 1 and not lose to an 8th seed. But right now, Portland has the lead. So we might be going to a game 7, and it's looking just like that. We are going to a game 7 and lose by pretty badly there. All right. Game 7 in Memphis. Please do not lose to an 8th seed. Get out of game 7 with the win. Can we do it? And right now, we might be going home. So yeah, I think I regret not making that trade at the deadline now. We're going to lose to the Blazers in game 7. We lose to an 8th seed. So yeah, it's pretty clear we need to make another trade. We're not ready. Portland beats us, just like we did the Clippers last year. They go all the way to the or no, they didn't. Pelicans beat them. You got the Cavs beating them in 4, beat the Pelicans. So Cavs win a championship. So this offseason will be our final all-in move. I should have done it at the trade deadline. I decided against it. I think we're going to try to go get a... Well, one thing I definitely want to do is get a better backup 5. Clark, as much as I like him, he just isn't that good in 2K, man. Let's just be honest. So as far as our pick is concerned, we got pick number 29. I'm pretty sure we're going to draft whoever, pick number 29, and then we're going to have to wait to make like the trade that I want to make. Actually, I don't know. There isn't a trade I have at the top of my head at the moment. I made that sound like I had this trade lined up. I don't. Not yet. We're going to look around the league and see who we can get. So we're going to fill that out. Let's go to draft night. I don't think we can make this trade yet, whatever trade we're going to do. So we got to try to just draft a 29 because I'm pretty sure all of our young players need options accepted, and we're going to need them in some trades. So obviously we have Smart and Clarkson's expiring as well. So that could get us somebody really good, but let's just draft a 29, see what we get. This could be a guy we throw in another trade. Isaiah Evans, or we got, I don't know how to say his name, 21-year-old Boatwright. Don't know anything about these guys at the end here, so let's take the guy at the very top out of Kentucky. Welcome to the squad. We got a 6'9" overall. I'll sign him. We also got Cam Scott, another guy we could maybe throw in a trade. Jake LaRavia, I'm going to accept. Qualifying offers, Aldama, G.G. Jackson, Zara Williams, all free agents. And then free agency, you have like Tatum, of course, and guys like that, which we don't have money for. But what we do have money for, wow, we have a lot of bird rights here. What do we have bird rights on? Like Kennard, Zara Williams, and Aldama. Okay, makes sense. All right. We have Tyus Jones, our backup point guard. That's settled. I'm not changing that unless we did trade Tyus Jones, of course. Clarkson, I think I like Clarkson a lot, but expiring contract, I think we try to move him. Smart. So if we were going to do this right now, we get a better shooting guard or a wing player. That's what we do for that. So, and I definitely want a better backup 5 this offseason as well. So let's scan around the league. Let's go make that all-in move. This is our last offseason here, so let's make sure this is a good one. So instead of making that big upgrade at the 2 or the 3 spot, I don't really see it, honestly. I mean, I've seen like Mikal as an option and like OG Anunoby, but those are guys I get quite often. So I think I'm just going to stick with Smart and Bane. We're just going to try to upgrade the center spot, and I'm going to start here with Wendell Carter. I think Wendell Carter is going to be a really good backup 5. He's on an expiring contract. I think Orlando could be open to moving him. Obviously not for Clark straight up, but if we offered like Jake LaRavia, who hasn't been able to crack the rotation anyway, and let's say we threw in like maybe the guy we just drafted in Scott, and let's say it's all this for Carter. They don't agree to that right away, which makes sense. I'm gonna have to I'll also offer him. They agree. So just like that, we get Wendell Carter as our brand new backup 5 to back up Robert Williams. That hopefully should help out a lot there, so that's great to have there. So center rotation locked in, point guard rotation locked in. Shooting guard rotation, I'm a little scared by because I feel like as much as I like Clarkson, I am a little nervous that he's going to go down in overall. So I think I'm going to also move on from Clarkson here because I think he's going to regress even further. We can get Melton back, and actually, I don't hate it. D'Anthony Melton back from Philadelphia. Obviously, they traded him on draft night. Kobe White, don't hate that either. Someone I don't get all that often. Bogdan, PJ Washington, Oshai Abaji, if the Jazz wanted Clarkson back for him. Mitchell Robinson pops up. Derek Lively, Finney Smith, Obi Toppin, Herb Jones. I honestly think that first trade that popped up makes a ton of sense. Philadelphia looking for a better score. They think Clarkson's better. We'll take Melton as our backup 2. And he's younger, won't regress, so we'll take that. So just like that, we get D'Anthony Melton and Wendell Carter in the same offseason. And now we need to figure out, I think we just signed Zara Williams back and we call it good. I think that's what we do. And Aldama. I think that's going to be it. So we're going to go ahead and just re-sign both those guys. And Kennard will probably let go. Zara Williams, I'm going to re-sign. And I'm also going to re-sign Aldama. And we'll call it a day in free agency. So that will be our offseason. Of course, G.G. Jackson as well. But our all-in move was, I guess, Melton and Carter. Is that good enough? I don't know. If things are still strong at the deadline, then we could entertain Smart as a trade candidate if we want to trade him. G.G. Jackson is back. So now we have Smart going down in overall. We have D'Anthony Melton, Zara Williams, David Roddy, Kenneth Lofton, G.G. Jackson all going up. But I feel good about the rotation we're about to have. I think we have the scoring with John Morant, Bane, and Jackson. It's just all about the role players. And I feel like we have some elite role players with Tyus Jones, Wendell Carter, Zara Williams, we're hoping can progress into that. And I feel like he's been pretty solid to start this season in real life. So let's go ahead and figure out the draft class 2026. This should be the last offseason no matter what. I'm hoping this is the last season. I'm hoping everything we've done leading up to this point is good enough to get us there. Here's your 9-man rotation. It's going to have Carter start. I don't want Carter to start, unfortunately. I'm going to start Robert Williams still. But starting 5 looks good in my opinion with Tyus Jones, Melton, and Zaire Williams off the bench. Hopefully this leads to a good season. I'll see you guys at the end of year number 3. Or if I decide to stop at the deadline and make that big move with Smart's contract, I will show you. So this year we actually get Coach of the Year with Will Hardy winning 63 games on the season. I'm assuming John Morant, of course, makes an All-NBA team, which is great. Now I'm hoping to get all defensive representatives, which we do with Jaren Jackson, which is awesome. And that's it. So no other all defensive representatives would have been cool. But we are the first seed in the West. Again, obviously last year, as we know, we all know how it ended. Hopefully this year that does not happen. But we went all in on this roster, and we're hoping this works out. Wendell Carter was really good, 13-9 off the bench on a contract year. So not really sure if we'll be able to keep him or not, but hopefully we won't have to worry about that. We just get this championship here, and the video's over. So let's go ahead and beat the Nuggets, hopefully in round 1. They still have Jokic, Peyton Watson, Mike Conley, Michael Porter, Gordon, Kobe Walter, Christian Brown, Dignagy, somebody come around against Denver, and we're going to sweep them. So great start. We don't get eliminated in round 1. That's great. Now we get the Warriors. So obviously, Grizzlies and the Warriors, we know how much they go back. The two teams don't like each other very much, so I'm going to put some respect on the Warriors' name. Let's go game by game here. We win game 1, 40 from John Morant in that first one. Game 2, they even it up. We're going to be in a tough one here, aren't we? 2-1, win 3-1. Yes, can we beat them in 5? Yes, we can. We're in the Western Conference Finals. Okay, and now get Wemby. By the way, Vince Wembanyama, really freaking good. So this is going to be a tough one. Isaiah Collier, Giddey is on this team now. Damn. Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, Wemby, Vassell, Okoro, Malachi Branham, and Kenyon Martin Jr. All right, man. Let's see if we can do it. Game 1, 1-0 start, 130-101. Great start. 28 from Wendell Carter. He has been amazing, bro. 42% from 3. What a get. What a get we got from the Magic there. Underrated pickup. Game 2, they even it up. Game 3, 2-1. Game 4, this will be a big 3-1 lead. We get it. Can we beat them in 5? Yes, we can. We're in the finals. Okay. And now we get the Knicks. Okay, so New York Knicks, who have, of course, Malcolm Brogdon now, quickly, RJ Randall. They no longer have Jalen Brunson, who had 40 last night on the Bucks. Obviously, they did lose still, but no Brunson. I thought this team is beatable. Randall was pretty bad last night as well. So here we go. Game 1, 1-0. Game 2, 2-0. 3-0. And okay, I was about to say, do not blow a 3-0 lead. We beat them in 6 games. John Morant is your Finals MVP. Let's go. We rebuilt the 0-6 Grizzlies. Obviously, the Grizzlies are a pretty good team. They're missing John Morant really badly right now. I don't know, man. Grizzlies, I feel like will turn it around, but I guess it remains to be seen. Hope you guys enjoyed this video regardless. As I said, comment down below any other storyline rebuilds you guys want to see so far in this regular season. Other than that, this is Crushables. I'll see you on the next video. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.